Hey, beautiful, welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever felt like the more you try, the more he pulls away? It's frustrating, right? You're texting, showing up, giving your best energy, and somehow you're still the one left waiting. But here's the truth, no one's told you. Men don't fall in love when they're with you. They fall in love when they're missing you. Let that sink in. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down the real reason why making a man miss you is not just a cute strategy. It's a psychological shift that changes everything. This isn't about manipulation, it's about magnetism. And it starts when you learn how to pull back with purpose. Not to play games, but to protect your value. Because here's the reality. Men are wired to chase what they can't fully have. Not because they're cruel or complicated, but because mystery activates something deep in their psychology. A craving to connect, pursue, and earn your attention. But most women do the opposite. They overgive, overtext, overexplain, and slowly become invisible. In this video, I'm going to hand you 7 powerful ways to flip the script and make him the one wondering, why am I thinking about her so much? So if you've ever asked, how do I get him to think about me when I'm not around? How do I stay on his mind without looking desperate? You're exactly where you need to be. Let's unlock your power and make him miss you in ways he won't even understand. Ready? Let's dive in. One of the most subtle yet powerful ways to make a man miss you is to activate his curiosity. When curiosity is sparked, his mind becomes naturally drawn to you, eager to uncover more, and that feeling keeps him coming back, sometimes without even realizing why. Curiosity is what turns casual interest into genuine fascination, and it's an emotional trigger that most people overlook. Think about it. People are naturally wired to seek out things that are new, mysterious, or a little unpredictable. When you become that mystery in his life, someone who doesn't reveal everything all at once, you instantly make yourself more valuable and intriguing. Instead of laying all your cards on the table, leaving no surprises, you keep him guessing, wondering, and wanting to know more about you. Activating his curiosity doesn't mean playing mind games or being fake. It means being confident in yourself and your story without giving it all away right away. It's about dropping hints instead of full explanations, sharing pieces of your life selectively, and letting him fill in the blanks with his imagination. When a man starts imagining who you are beyond what he's seen, he builds a deeper emotional connection with you, and that's what makes him miss you. You can spark curiosity in many ways. Maybe it's through your conversations, giving answers that are intriguing, but not exhausting. For example, if he asks what you did over the weekend, instead of a full rundown, say something like, "I had an interesting day full of surprises," and leave it at that. He'll want to know what happened, and that anticipation will linger in his mind. Or you might share stories that reveal your passions or quirks, without explaining every detail, encouraging him to ask more. Curiosity also grows through your action. If you're someone who is always engaging in new hobbies, learning new skills, or stepping outside your comfort zone, you create layers to your personality that make him want to discover more. When your life feels rich and multi-dimensional, he's drawn to that energy and wants to be part of it. Even your social media presence can activate curiosity, sharing glimpses of your life that hint at an exciting, vibrant world, but don't give everything away. When a man scrolls through your posts and sees just enough to wonder what you're really like, that mystery hooks him emotionally. Most importantly, activating curiosity puts you in the driver's seat. It gives you control over how much you reveal and when, so you're not chasing after his attention, but inviting him in on your terms. It's a powerful way to build attraction and emotional investment without pressure. So if you want a man to miss you, start by making yourself a mystery worth unraveling. Let him lean in, ask questions, and imagine the parts of you he hasn't seen yet. Curiosity is the spark that ignites deeper feelings, and when that flame burns, he won't be able to stop thinking about you. One of the biggest mistakes women make, especially when they're emotionally invested, is over-communicating. And I get it. When you like someone, your instinct is to stay connected. You want to show interest, keep the momentum going, and make sure they don't forget about you. But what if I told you that constantly reaching out is actually pushing him further away? Let's get one thing clear. Communication is not the same as connection. You can text him all day, reply in 30 seconds, like every story, double tap every post, and still feel totally disconnected. Why? Because real emotional connection doesn't come from how much you talk. It comes from how you make him feel when you're not around. Over-communicating strips away mystery. It leaves no space for him to wonder about you, to think about what you're doing, or to miss your presence. And when there's no space, there's no curiosity. And without curiosity, there's no desire. Simple as that. Think about it like this. When you always respond instantly, when you're always the first to reach out, when you send paragraph after paragraph without giving him room to engage, you're unconsciously telling him, I'm always here, no matter what. That removes any sense of urgency or excitement on his end. He doesn't have to miss you. You're always available. And this isn't about playing games, it's about understanding balance. Men are attracted to women who have full, beautiful lives outside of them. When you stop constantly updating him, texting him every little thought, or checking in just to check in, he starts to notice the silence. That silence becomes louder than any message you could have sent. That space makes him think, where is she? What's she up to? Why hasn't she texted me yet? That's when the shift happens. That's when the energy starts to move toward you instead of away from you. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but if I don't text him, won't he forget about me? Here's the truth. If a man forgets about you, just because you didn't text for a day, he was never truly emotionally invested in the first place. A man who genuinely sees value in you will feel your absence, and that absence will create desire. So instead of over-communicating to stay relevant, try this. Communicate with intention. Be warm, responsive, and real, but also unpredictable. Leave a little space between replies. Don't always initiate the conversation. Let him reach out. Let him feel the lack of your presence once in a while. That space becomes your power. In that space, you're showing him something powerful. You're not chasing, you're choosing. You're not desperate for attention. You're selective with your energy. And that, more than anything, will make him think about you long after the conversation ends. One of the most underrated but powerful ways to shift the energy in your favor is this. Learn to leave the conversation first. It sounds simple, almost too small to matter, but it changes the entire dynamic between you and the guy you're talking to. Most women are conditioned to keep conversations going. You want to seem interested, polite, available, so you wait for him to end the chat. Or you keep replying even when the conversation is clearly winding down. You don't want to seem rude, or worse, uninterested. But here's the truth. When you always let him lead the ending, you're silently signaling that your time revolves around him. Leaving first doesn't mean cutting things off abruptly, or being cold. It means knowing your value and recognizing when to exit while the energy is still good. Think about your favorite movie. It ends at the peak of emotion, not when the audience is tired. That's what keeps people thinking about it long after the credits roll. The same principle applies here. When you gracefully leave a conversation while it's still engaging, funny, or warm, you leave him wanting more. And that's exactly what you want. You want him to feel a little surprised, a little curious, to think, wait, she's not still here. That slight gap creates he starts wondering what you're doing, who you're talking to, what suddenly took your attention away, and that wondering builds emotional gravity. Especially if he's used to women lingering in the chat, dragging things out, or waiting on him. When you're always the one to stay until the end, you're giving away your emotional presence too easily. But when you leave first, you're showing him that you have a full life. You're not hanging around waiting for breadcrumbs. And you're confident enough to walk away even when things are going well. That confidence is rare and incredibly attractive. So next time you're texting or chatting, and things are going well, instead of waiting for the energy to drop, simply say something like, hey, I've got to run, but I've really enjoyed this. Talk soon. That's warm. It's clear. It's confident. And most importantly, it's powerful. This approach isn't about being manipulative or controlling the conversation. It's about knowing when to exit on a high note. Think of it like leaving a party when the music is still good. You leave an impression, you leave a memory, and he'll be thinking about your last message, replaying your laugh, remembering how you made him feel, because you ended the moment before it became boring, routine, or transactional. Leaving the conversation first isn't a game, it's a mindset. You're not afraid to create space. You trust that space creates value. And when you do it right, that little pause becomes the spark that keeps you on his mind long after the chat ends. If you want to make a man miss you deeply, not just casually think of you once in a while, you need to do something subtle, but incredibly powerful. You need to trigger emotional nostalgia. This is one of the most effective ways to stay in someone's mind without even being physically present. So what is emotional nostalgia? It's that warm, slightly bittersweet feeling someone gets when they think about a moment that made them feel something real, something human. People don't miss words or even faces. They miss how someone made them feel. And if you can create emotional snapshots in his memory, he will revisit those moments over and over again. That's how missing you becomes almost involuntary. Now here's the key. Nostalgia isn't always created during big dramatic events. It's often found in the tiny moments that feel genuine. Maybe it was a laugh you shared that came out of nowhere, a specific song you mentioned you loved, a scent you wore, a random inside joke. These are the little emotional anchors that tie you to his memory. If you're still in contact with him, you can subtly bring these moments up. Casually reference something like, "This totally reminded me of that day we got caught in the rain. Still one of the funniest afternoons ever." Or send a song with no context, just the track. If he has even the slightest emotional tie to that moment, the association comes flooding back. And it won't just be the memory, it'll be you that he feels again. Even if you're not currently talking, there's a way this still works. By leaving him with those unforgettable emotional imprints, you let time do the rest. Something he hears, sees, or smells might randomly trigger the memory of you. And it's in those random unexpected moments that missing you becomes real. Not because you're chasing him, but because his own emotions start reaching for you. The beautiful thing about nostalgia is that it bypasses logic. A guy might tell himself he's moving on, or that he's fine. But if he's alone one night and something reminds him of a time with you where he felt truly seen or laughed without trying, he'll feel that pull, that ache, So the goal here isn't to overload him with memories or spam his inbox with reminders. It's to plant small authentic moments that hit his heart in a way nothing else does. And you do that by being present and intentional in the moments you do share, by being memorable without forcing it. It's not about performing, it's about leaving behind something emotionally real. Because the truth is, men don't miss the girl who was always available. They miss the girl who made them feel something they can't recreate. And once you've triggered that kind of nostalgia, he won't just remember you, he'll start needing to feel you again. If you want to stay on a man's mind long after the conversation ends, there's one trait that instantly makes you unforgettable: being unpredictably fun. Not just fun, not just sweet, but unpredictable in the best way. Unexpected, playful, light-hearted, and full of surprise energy he can't quite pin down. Most people fall into routines when dating. The same types of conversations, the same responses, the same "how was your day" over and over. It becomes safe, but also predictable. And here's the hard truth: predictability kills emotional excitement. If a guy always knows exactly what you're going to say, how you'll respond, or what you'll text next, he won't feel any emotional stimulation. He won't feel pulled in, because there's no contrast, no spark of the unknown. Being unpredictably fun is about breaking that pattern. It's about bringing energy that's just a little different each time, keeping him guessing in a good way. Maybe one day you're super playful and teasing, and the next you're casually chill and mysterious. Or maybe you randomly send him a hilarious voice note, or challenge him to a quick game of first person to answer loses. Little things like that shift you from being someone he talks to into someone he thinks about. This unpredictability doesn't mean being chaotic or playing mind games. It's about creating emotional contrast. If everything feels predictable, his brain checks out. But if he's never quite sure what delightful surprise he's going to get from you next, he stays mentally engaged. He leans in, he starts to look forward to the moments with you, because they're never dull. And trust me, men remember the woman who made them laugh unexpectedly in the middle of a stressful day, more than the one who sent a routine good morning. And here's the best part: you don't need to be a comedian or the life of the party. You just need to be genuine and in the moment. Don't overthink your texts. Don't try to be perfect. Instead, bring your playful side to the surface. If something random makes you laugh, share it. If you feel like sending a cute, ridiculous meme, do it. If you have a funny idea for a spontaneous hangout, pitch it. That energy is magnetic. It says, "I don't take myself too seriously. I'm here to enjoy this." When you're unpredictably fun, you become the break from his routine, and that's powerful. Because while beauty may catch a man's attention, it's energy that keeps him hooked. If every interaction with you feels different, fresh, and emotionally alive, you'll stand out in his mind and in his heart. So don't be afraid to be a little unexpected. Switch it up. Be playful. Be weird. Be spontaneous. Because the woman who brings laughter, surprise, and lightning, that's the woman he'll find himself smiling about at 2 a.m., wondering when he'll get to talk to her again. If you really want a man to miss you, not just miss your presence, but miss your energy, then the most magnetic move you can make is focusing on your glow up. And I'm not just talking about a physical transformation. Your glow up is a full package evolution, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. It's about becoming so focused on leveling up your life that the absence of your attention becomes undeniable. Here's the thing: most women make the mistake of centering their energy around the man they want. They fixate on what he's doing, what he's thinking, how often he's texting, and how they can keep his interest. But the truth is, nothing pulls a man in like watching a woman who has stopped centering him completely and started pouring into herself. When a man sees you glowing up, smiling more, leveling up your fitness, chasing your goals, surrounding yourself with new experiences, he feels it. Even if you're not in contact, your energy shifts. You become radiant, untouchable, and magnetic in a way he can't ignore. Suddenly, you're not the girl waiting by the phone. You're the woman in motion. The woman who looks like she discovered a new level of confidence and didn't need him to get there. And what does that do? It triggers curiosity, then admiration, then desire. He starts wondering what's gotten into her. Why is she glowing lately? Did she move on? And in those questions, you've already created emotional tension. You've made yourself more valuable by becoming less available, not out of spite, but because you outgrew the version of yourself that was waiting for him to notice. Your glow up is your silent comeback. It's not loud or dramatic. It's in the way your energy changes, how you dress with more intention, how your boundaries get stronger, how your skin glows not just from products but from peace. It's in how you start showing up differently, to your friends, to your career, to your own reflection. And don't make the mistake of thinking you have to be at your final form before he notices. Men pick up on the momentum. They feel the change when you stop texting just to stay on their mind and start living so fully that you stay on theirs. Glow-ups aren't for revenge, they're not for attention. They're for reclamation. When you shift the focus off him and onto yourself, you send the strongest signal of all. I'm no longer available to be taken for granted. So if you want him to miss you, don't chase, don't beg, don't prove. Just elevate. Quietly, powerfully, beautifully. Let him watch you become the version of yourself that you always wanted to be. Because at that point, he won't just miss you. He'll wonder how he ever let you slip away. The final and most powerful way to make a man miss you is to master the art of detachment. And this might be the hardest one because it requires you to let go emotionally, not just physically. But when you learn to detach with grace and self-worth, you become the kind of woman who isn't just remembered, you're felt. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent or pretend you're too good for love. It means you stop clinging, you stop needing constant validation. You stop obsessing over where you stand with him or what his next move will be, because you already know who you are, with or without him. When you're overly attached, your energy becomes heavy. You start trying to control outcomes, texting at the perfect time, saying the perfect thing, walking on emotional eggshells, hoping it keeps him close. But that's not attractive. That's not powerful. That's fear disguised as effort. Now imagine this instead. You care, you connect, you show up with openness, but if he pulls away, you don't chase. If he's inconsistent, you don't beg for clarity. You observe, you respond from your center. And if he disappears, you let him. Not because you don't value him, but because you value yourself more. That's detachment. And that's what leaves a mark. Because most people are used to others reacting, fighting to keep the connection alive, needing answers, needing reassurance. But when you don't feed into that cycle, when you stay soft but strong, you stand out. He feels that shift. He notices that you're not dependent on his presence to feel full. And that's when the magnetism starts. Ironically, detachment creates space for the other person to feel their emotions more clearly. When you're no longer pushing, pulling, or reaching, it gives him room to wonder, why isn't she chasing? Did she let go? Is she really okay without me? And in that space, you become valuable again. Not because you forced it, but because you stepped back and gave the connection room to breathe. It's in your silence that your presence grows louder. And here's the deeper truth. The woman who can walk away without anger, bitterness, or desperation is unforgettable. She doesn't try to prove her worth, she lives it. She doesn't need to be chosen, she chooses herself. That's the kind of energy that lingers, that haunts, that he thinks about late at night, long after the messages stop. So if you really want him to miss you, don't just disappear. Detach with dignity. Let your calm be louder than your words. Let your peace be the proof that you were never asking for attention. You were asking for effort. And if he couldn't give that, your absence becomes his mirror. Mastering detachment isn't giving up, it's leveling up. And that's what makes you unforgettable. If you've made it this far, it means you're not just curious about how to make a man miss you. You're serious about stepping into your power. And that's the real win here. Because all the tips in this video, they aren't just about him. They're about you. About reclaiming your energy, your worth, and your ability to influence without chasing. When you understand that missing someone isn't about what you say or do in the moment, but about the emotional impact you leave behind, you start showing up differently. You stop trying to convince someone of your value, and you start moving like someone who knows her value is obvious. And here's the truth no one tells you. If a man can feel your absence, It's because your presence carried weight. Emotional, mental, energetic weight. That's what he'll miss. He won't miss the girl who overextended herself, overtexted, or begged for attention. He'll miss the girl who had her own glow, her own boundaries, her own life, and still chose to give him pieces of it. That's rare. Now, before we wrap up, here are a few bonus tips that take everything we've talked about and turn the volume up. First, don't announce your detachment. Don't post cryptic quotes. Don't hint at walking away. Just do it. Quiet confidence is magnetic. When you stop trying to be seen, you become impossible to ignore. Second, elevate your routine. New hobbies, better habits, fresh experiences. Not because you're trying to show off, but because you deserve to keep growing. The more you evolve, the less room you'll have for people who didn't value you, and the more attractive you become to everyone watching, including him. Third, protect your softness. Yes, you're strong now. Yes, you've learned detachment, but don't become hard or bitter. Let your heart stay open, but with discernment. The right man will miss not just your energy, but your light. Don't let anyone dim that in the process. And finally, trust timing. Sometimes a man needs space to feel what he couldn't feel in your presence. Don't interrupt that process. The silence will do more than words ever could. When the foundation you've built is emotional connection, your absence can echo louder than your voice. So here's what I want you to take away from this. You don't need to manipulate or pretend to be someone else to be missed. So you just need to remember who you are. A woman with boundaries, a woman with energy, a woman who brings peace, play, warmth, and presence, and who knows exactly when to pull it back. The woman who learns to give from overflow, not emptiness, is always the one they remember. So be. And if you're ready for more mindset shifts, self-worth breakthroughs, and high-value dating tips, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below. Let me know which tip resonated with you most. I read every message and I love hearing your stories. Your glow up, it starts now. You've just learned some of the most powerful ways to make a man miss you. And the truth is, it all comes down to one thing. Confidence. Confidence is magnetic. Confidence is attractive. Confidence is what keeps you unforgettable long after you walk away. Remember, being confident doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means embracing who you are, your quirks, your strengths, your growth, and owning it fully. When you walk through life knowing your worth, you radiate a light that draws people in effortlessly. And that light, it's irresistible. So as you move forward, don't let doubt or fear creep in. Don't let insecurity whisper that you need to chase or beg for attention. Instead, stand tall in your value. Trust that the right people will be drawn to your energy, your glow, and your authentic self. You are enough, just as you are. And here's something crucial. Stay true to yourself. Don't change your essence to fit someone else's expectations or timelines. The real magic happens when you align with your own truth and live unapologetically. That's when you become not just someone to miss, but someone to admire. This journey isn't always easy. There will be moments when you question if it's working, when you feel vulnerable, or when old habits try to pull you back in. But every step you take toward owning your power makes you stronger. Keep reminding yourself, your value isn't dependent on anyone else's attention. It's built within you. So take everything you've learned today and make it your mantra. Be unpredictable, be fun, glow up, detach with dignity, and always carry yourself with unwavering confidence. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more empowering content. I'm here to support you on your journey to becoming the best, most irresistible version of yourself. Remember, the most magnetic woman isn't the one who chases. She's the one who knows her worth and shines regardless. Stay confident, stay irresistible, and I'll see you in the next video.